Mm. Hello, people. Welcome back to the Nightwalk Vlog. I am your host, Chad Marco. You know, so I wanted to talk about something that kind of important and might be of use to some of you guys as far as like I don't know, your overall happiness or more so like your attitude and things like that, this ain't like some big motivational speech, but I think it's an important topic. Um, so I was on the Discord, and somebody said something that has stood out to me, and they said something like, I'm envious of Chad because he's so happy, even though he hasn't accomplished anything, right? And you know, I didn't take that personally, but because I can understand why people might come to that conclusion just based off of my life on the surface. When you're an adult man living at home with your mama and you're broke, it's easy to just discount that person almost like as a non-person, because as men we're kind of like the way we're judged by the world, and our sense of value typically comes from like a very narrow set of factors. The amount of money you make, maybe your genetics, and your success with women. That's pretty much how we're judged as men. So when you don't have those things, people don't really see you as someone of value a lot of times. And but the thing is, I think that's a big issue with not just men, but people in general, as far as like how we judge each other and really how we judge ourselves. Like, you know, you can look at somebody and then say, okay, well, again, he's broke, and then just completely dismiss any other good aspect to his character or anything that he's done. Um, but the thing is, I think that my happiness, the reason why I'm so happy is like this shit didn't just come out of nowhere. I mean, maybe some people just have this idea like I just woke up and a light bulb hit and I was just happy. Dude, that's not how it worked. Like there was a lot that went into why I'm as happy as I am today. There's a lot that went into why I have such an appreciation for my life and the lives of others and life in general that I have today. And the thing is, I think that a lot of my struggles have been like personal things, personal shortcomings that I had to overcome in private, in secret, while just me having my alone time and reflecting little moments in my life that other people might not have thought much of, but were of significance to me. And I think that, along with other things, all add up to why I feel as good as I do, despite not having, the standard list of society's expectations checked off, those boxes checked off, girlfriend, house, high paying job, things like that. And that's not to say that I don't want those things, but I think there's so much more to life and really who we are as people that goes underappreciated. And that's why someone might think something like that. They'll say, well, he ain't got no money. What was he smiling for? Right. But just for example, because you guys know that I spend a lot of time on 4chan, Wiz Chan, in particular, the robot board on the robot board R9K on 4chan, and we all know that that board is populated by a lot of young men who have different issues, different shortcomings that we've had to deal with. You have guys who, their problem might be that they're afraid to talk to girls, or they've been completely unsuccessful with women, or their issue might be that They have bad social anxiety or anxiety in general. You have guys there that are alcoholics. You have guys that are drug addicts. You have guys that are hickeys that don't go outside. You have guys who are overweight, 200, 300, 400 pounds, guys who are video game addicts. You have guys who have suffered from uh, depression, have been on different types of medications. I mean, any number of guys who've been bullied, a lot of different problems you see these guys going through. And of course, money is one of those things too. You see guys where, neets, and guys who don't have jobs, guys who don't have cars, guys who can't drive, all these different things that are troubling young men. And we all have a different assortment of these problems. And I'm obviously no different. And I think that's why a lot of people can relate to my music. They can relate to my story and what I've been through. Is because, I've revealed so much of that either through music or just through, situations like these where I just talk more about my personal life and what I've been through. And, my point that I'm trying to make is that there's so much value in identifying what your personal problems are and then taking the steps necessary to overcome those. And just for example, I dropped out of high school when I was 16. And that, oh man, those are fun years. Right after, Dreamcast, right? but in my early 20s, I went and got my GED. And for me, that was a great sense of accomplishment for me, because the events that led up to me dropping out of high school, were a lot of different things. Being raised by a single mother who, quite frankly, was not fit to do her job. I'm not throwing blame, but it is what we all know. Statistics surrounding single mother raised motherfuckers more likely to drop out, more likely to get incarcerated, more likely to this, that, right? And things like being bullied, a lot of different things contributed to me dropping out, and me getting up and deciding to go and get my GED and doing that. That's something that meant something to me, because just like I was just talking about, a lot of us have these different personal issues and demons that tend to throw us off track or lead us astray. But at some point, we have to realize that, identify these problems, and then confront them. And me going back to get my GED, that was one of the many things that I had to do as far as taking the steps to becoming a better person. Now, somebody else might take that for granted. If you had a normal life and you just went through middle school and high school and you had your girlfriend and you on the football team, and you don't think about shit like that because it was just normal to you, but it wasn't normal for me. So for me, it meant a lot to go back and do that. But the average person isn't going to look at that and have the same feelings about it that I do, because they look at it like it's normal, like it's just a standard. People graduate high school, but that wasn't the case for me. So me going back to get my GED, it meant something for me. Another thing is, I used to have very bad social anxiety. I was very uncomfortable around people, and I identified that. I accepted it, I acknowledged it, and I started taking steps towards fixing that problem. Part of fixing that problem was, getting into working out and becoming more comfortable in my own skin. But it was also just being more attentive to when I was interacting with people out in the world. I started paying more attention to the little things. Anytime that I would go like to a checkout, I made sure that, I looked the person in their eyes. I say hello. I say thank you. I started just paying attention to every little thing that I was doing. If I'm walking past somebody on the street, I look them in the eyes. I acknowledge them. Hey, what's up, yo? What's up? Just little shit. And now I feel as like I love solitude, but I really legitimately love situations where I can interact with people now, because I feel so much more comfortable doing that. But again, this is one of those things that people don't appreciate. Because I guess for most people, it's just something that they take for granted. It's something that they have. But you guys know, coming from where a lot of us come from, where we have these different issues, you know, that's not something that we can take for granted. Because a lot of guys a lot of guys are suffering from not being able to do basic things like socializing and feeling comfortable in their own skin. You know, I didn't like the way I looked physically. And so I started working out. That was another thing that helped. That was another thing that I did. You know, I was, I mean, come on, thousands of, like, by now I've done thousands of push-ups, thousands of sit-ups, ran thousands of miles. But these are the things that people don't see. These are the things that people don't appreciate. Teaching myself how to make music, you know, to the point where people legitimately fuck with it and like it. Not just your friends and your family that say, oh, okay, that's cool. Now shut the fuck up. Right? You know, but, you know, teaching myself how to make music and to the point where people actually like it and and want to download it and listen to it, continue. You know, stuff like that to me has a lot of value. And other things as well, as far as, like, you know, controlling my emotions. You know, if I feel like I'm afraid, to know, okay, well, I feel fear or anxiety about this, but I still need to do it. You know, there were a few times at work where I had to be confrontational with people. Not like physically, but like we gotta talk about some serious shit. And that was something that I normally wouldn't do. I remember the boss, she was surprised when she heard that I did that shit, because she knew me from school. And so she was surprised when she heard that I was the one that got everybody together for like a big meeting and shit, like, but whole thing. But what I'm saying is that my happiness didn't just come out of nowhere. I didn't just wake up and was like, hey, everybody. Like, this shit didn't come from, like, there were a lot of personal demons that I had to face. And even harder is to acknowledge that, to acknowledge where you were wrong in life, where your attitude was misplaced, your perspective was misplaced, and to confront that and face it and say, you know what, I have to take the necessary steps to overcome this so that I can be a better person, so that I can live up to my potential. You know, that's why I'm so happy. And to me, maybe not to somebody else that's looking at me from the outside in, but for me, these things are accomplishments. These things matter when you overcome your personal demons and you start seeing the difference. People around you respond to you differently. These things matter immensely. And see, I think the problem with judging people based on, again, this narrow field of what is and what isn't important, is that we lose sight of other important aspects of developing yourself as a person. You know, I just finished Botcast 36. And I did a segment where I was talking about the Young Thug YSL case. You know, Young Thug is the big rapper, and now he's sitting in court of pretty much fighting for his freedom. Now, see, that's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Now, see, easily you would look at Young Thug, big famous rapper, all the bitches in the world, pretty much the world in the palm of his hands, and you would compare him to me and say, oh God. I'd rather be Young Thug any day. But now look at him. Now, why is he in the situation that he's in? Because despite the talent, despite the creativity, despite the money that he's made, despite the fame, there were aspects of his character that kept his behaviors in a negative field. Now, these are allegations. Everything against him is alleged at this point. But the fact is, if he did do the things that are alleged against him, that shows a lack of development in certain areas of his character. And my point is, it's an example of how money is not everything. Money is not the end all of how you can judge and come to a conclusion about the quality of a man that you're looking at. Because we see it all the time. We see rappers and celebrities, rich people all the time getting in trouble over bullshit, gang violence, murders, sexual assault allegations. You see guys stupidly getting married and then getting divorced, have their shit taken, like all kind of shit. But they had the money. They had the right. What happened to? And the thing is, dude, you got to understand. It's like this game of life that we're playing. And look, don't get me wrong. Money is important. I'm trying to get some too. But I think that when you try to judge a man or anybody just by that one metric, you miss out on so many other aspects of character and behavior that matters. And again, another example, how many people can you point to that had the money but then had some sort of drug addiction and then ended up flushing all of that potential and all that wealth down the drain? Okay, they had the money, but they were into hard drugs and still ended up fucking everything up. Money is not everything. You still have to be someone who's wise enough to navigate successfully around the pitfalls of life. Money is just one aspect. Money is just one important aspect of it. And you know, there's a red pill content creator named Anthony Spade, and he said something that I never forgot. And he was talking about how you see these rappers, right? Why they all fuck with the same ratchet bitches and shit like that, despite being so wealthy. And he was saying, look, even though their money has elevated, their mind is still in the same place. Their mind is still in the ghetto. Their mind is still in the hood. So they're still attracted to the wrong type of women. Look at the shit that like rappers like Blueface is going through right now with his girl. His money is bigger, but his mind is still in the projects. So he's dealing with that, and so that's why you see shit like that. And that's why I'm saying it's like it's not enough to just get your money right. That's important, but if your mind is not right too, then you're gonna make foolish decisions. And really, a lot of times, the foolish decisions you make outside of making money can invalidate all the money that you make. We see it all the time. And I think that that's another thing that goes underappreciated. It kind of goes back to what I said when I was talking about is MGTOW a code, where people don't appreciate when men don't engage with bad dating options. The same can be said for a lot. People won't appreciate the fact that I don't drink alcohol and potentially avoided becoming an alcoholic. People don't appreciate the fact that I avoided hard drugs. People won't appreciate the fact that I've stayed out of trouble. I've never been incarcerated. I'm not a street nigga. You know, and the thing is, a lot of these, I've had opportunities to do a lot of this dumb shit. I had the opportunity to fuck the hoe. I had opportunities to like, people offered me hard drugs and shit like that. And you know what? I said no. You know, and that's what I'm saying though. It's like, there's more to winning this game of life than just making money. But when it comes to the money aspect of it now, you know, I'm not going to make excuses. I could have done a lot more, you know, throughout my 20s to get my money up, you know, and I think that was connected to another one of my personal issues, which is really just overall laziness. You know, I've always known that I could be a very lazy, half-assed, and procrastinating motherfucker, but that's something that I looked at and say, you know what, I got to confront that. That's something that I have to overcome, you know. But the reason why, and you got to understand, the reason why I'm so happy, you know, despite being broke and currently living with my mom, is that, you know, it's a combination of the fact of everything, all the personal demons that I've overcome and how well I've done as far as staying out of trouble and avoiding situations and setbacks that tend to hold people back tend to hold people back a lot in life. And so I look at my position in life and I see a path where, you know, there's no excuse why I can't make a lot of money. There's no excuse why I can't at least make enough money to buy the things that I need. There's no excuse as to why I can't, eventually move out of my mom's house and have my own. And so I'm just confident that I'm going to accomplish these things. Maybe I didn't accomplish it according to the timeline of what's normal, but my whole life has been like my whole life has been like that. My whole life has been just, overcoming things that maybe other people didn't have to deal with, or overcoming things that other people couldn't, but then they did other things better than me. I've like, even some of my friends, I remember early on, they were way like far further ahead than me in life. And then I slowly crept up to where I'm looking at them like, damn. But a lot of my success was just not getting caught up in the same bullshit that they did. Getting locked up, dealing with crazy bitches. And so I was able to just ease my way up right to the like close to the front of the pack. But like I said, man, a lot of us are dealing with different things, and we just got to overcome it one at a time. But just because you don't have everything together right now, that doesn't mean that you're not going to eventually get there. The thing is, you got to put in the time, you got to put in the effort, and you got to make good decisions. And I'm not happy for no reason. I'm happy because I see the potential of what I can do, and I have a vision for my life. It's like building a sports team. You don't just come out the gate championship winners. You gotta have a vision of knowing, okay, this player got potential. If we make these moves, and in 2 or 3 years, we're gonna be championship content. That's how I look at myself. That's how I look at everything isn't in place now, but I see the potential. I have a vision for where I can be in life. And I know that if I keep trying, I know that if I keep putting in the effort and investing the time and make good decisions, that I'm going to be exactly where I want to be, exactly where I need to be. That's why I'm happy, because I'm just enjoying the process. I'm enjoying the journey. And you guys have been with me long enough to see the things that I've done. You saw me go from not being able to drive to getting my first car and teaching myself how to drive, literally. You see me get my first job and hold it down, and then start paying my mom rent and giving her more money than what she asked for. Again, these are the things, the evidence of like, okay, this is a championship team right here. We just got to make some more moves, but we're going to get exactly where that's where the smile comes from. That's why I'm happy, because I know I have a clear vision of exactly where I'm going. It's just a matter of time, effort, and good decision making. So I hope you guys got something of value out of that, especially going into the new year. And make sure that you guys just, again, there's value in overcoming your personal shortcomings and demons, whatever it may be. There's value in that. That shit is important. And don't let anybody take the value of that away from you, because these are the building blocks to where confidence and happiness comes from. I'm an example of that. So make sure you guys stay the path, stay the course, and Johnny.